On the World According to Gross tonight, observations on a polluted beach. Now, this particular species is wearing a yellow string bikini, and she seems to be watched with deep fascination by the males of the species.
Have closed. A lot of people are out on the sand anyway. Today, Peter set out to find out why. While we don't want to undermine Peter's skill as a journalist, time capsule stuff, he ain't.
Throughout the history of mankind, historians have constantly relied upon the observations of talented reporters like myself to tell them what life was like during a certain period of time. Today, the beaches are closed, and years from now, historians will want to know what Toronto citizens did instead of swimming. To make my observations more permanent, I'm employing this little tape recorder. Torontonians on a polluted beach, July 24th, 1985, by Peter Gross. On this particular day, one of the most popular events seemed to be lying facing the sun, exposing a large percentage of the body's flesh to the sun's rays. This attempt to darken the body's color seemed to be especially popular among attractive young females. Now, what was that, Kelly? 447-2183? This is probably worthy of much more research, but as the young women paraded by in their revealing outfits, the male of the species observed with a great degree of fascination. Personal note to myself, leave this portion out of the final report. Within a few yards of the water, physically fit specimens, aided by a weapon-like appendage at the end of their arms, drove a brightly colored spheroid back and forth over a stretched piece of netting. This was commonly referred to as tennis. Now, this is a scene observed many times by this reporter as young future citizens of Toronto were being pushed along the boardwalk in multi-wheeled contraptions. These infantile human beings are being pushed either by their maternal components or by surrogate agents hired specifically for the purposes of pushing. Adjacent to the infected waters, these would-be architects were practicing their budding skills in the sand. Unbeknownst to them, they would be involved some 15 years later in the design and building of a new dome stadium that would arrive in Toronto around 2003. These are the observations that I, Peter Gross, journalist for City Television, made on the beaches of Toronto, July 24th, 1985.
There's no tape in there.
What do you mean there's no tape in there? Of course there isn't. There's no tape in there.